And now, weighing in out of the blue corner, Josh the Punk Thompson. 100%. And on the other mic, he weighs in from the red corner, Big John McCarthy.
Oh, it is another edition of the Weighing In Podcast, and we are going to talk about all things as far as combat sports, but we're also going to talk about college football because yesterday, my Tennessee Volunteers done whooped Alabama. Well, they didn't whoop them. What a game. It was incredible. 52-49. Alabama goes down like Frazier. It was awesome. Did you see that game?
I couldn't get my eyes off of that game. I was trying to watch it in the restaurant. I was watching it between two kids soccer games. It was crazy, but it was awesome. People were staring at me going, what are you doing? I was pacing back and forth. It was a fantastic game. Came down to the last 15 seconds. Two big plays down the field, got them in field goal range, and then knuckleball field goal that won it all. John, look, anytime, it doesn't matter what team, but when I was a kid, the Tennessee Vols were my favorite football team, college football team. And then I also, because of Pat Summitt, right? Yeah, Pat Summitt was the females basketball coach. She obviously one of the greatest coaches of all time. Rest in peace. But she was I used to love watching the females basketball play. They were so good, so dominant. She just commanded respect. And I love that I think for me as a young kid, always looked up to a lot of my coaches that I worked with. And she was one of those ones I was like, wow, she's an amazing coach. And then I always kind of loved the football as well. But this was a great game. Any team that beats Bama, I'm sorry, man, I'm not a big Nick Saban fan. So any team that beats Bama, any team, I don't care who you are, when Bama loses, I'm like, all of a sudden I become a fan of that other team. But this was a great game. It was a great game, back and forth. So, what about you? Where were you watching it? You're in Nashville right now.
I was in Nashville watching normally because I was up in Knoxville yesterday. In fact, I had to take it was my wife's birthday, so I had to take her for, birthday stuff. She wanted to stop at this outlet mall. And so we stop at the outlet mall, and I got a bunch of people that are recognizing me and stuff. And normally, if I'm going to go out, I wear a hat because it just kind of, people then look at you like, is that? Can't tell. Not sure. So I figured, screw it. They have a lid. So I go into lids, right? Mm-hmm. And it is full of Alabama fans. I am the only freaking Tennessee guy in this thing, right? Because they're buying Alabama shit and the hats and stuff. And so
Knoxville.
Knoxville.
Oh, no, you're not. You mean in Knoxville?
This is Knoxville yesterday.
Oh, right? Gotcha. Fucking traitors, man.
Oh, dude. And so then I go in, and so I'm the only guy. I'll take that Tennessee. He goes, I want the Tennessee hat, right? And they're all looking at me like, we hate you. Uh-huh. But the best part is there's a country singer named Matt Stillwell.
Yeah.
Good guy. I made this tailgate bench, use a truck tailgate, and I painted, and I did it all up in Tennessee colors, and my wife had put it on the thing, and Matt Stillwell went on the Instagram and said, that's awesome. Well, he has this song, Vol for Life. It's awesome. It's a great song. It just talks about all the elements of Tennessee football. A guy named John Ward used to be their broadcast guy, and he would always say, give them 6 in the checkerboard because they got the checkerboard thing. And he's got all these elements, the Vol Navy, because if the Little Tennessee River runs right by Leland Stadium and you get the Vol Navy, all these people come on boats, and some of these boats are unbelievable.
Wow.
Right? It's a Navy.
Wow.
And so he's got all these elements in the song, right? So he writes this thing, and he goes, man, I love that bench. I said, dude, you want to come get it? It's yours. He goes, I'm on my way, right? And so I gave it to him, and he gave me a bunch of stuff. We sat there, and he sings the song for me and stuff. So
nice. He
also does tailgate parties there. So he was at the game. And so Matt Stillwell finally beat Alabama. It's only been like 15 years. Jesus.
Great. It was a great game. I mean, I think Tennessee had the lead. They had the lead the whole game up until I think the midway through the third quarter.
Yeah, the nice little fumble.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, I think that was like towards the end of the third quarter when they did that, or maybe it was the beginning of the fourth.
I think it was in the fourth.
I think it was in the fourth. That's the problem with that that release on that where they go to hand it off and they pull it back sometimes.
And he thought he pulled it back.
Yeah.
The tailback thought he pulled it back. He kept running. Quarterback's looking at the ball on the ground, and the guy just picks it up, and I went, oh, man.
It's like, damn it, Jim.
I thought we were done. They came back. Showed heart.
Good stuff, though, man. They did some good stuff. Their defense came big, and was able to get a stop later on, and they were able to just keep tricking away. Good stuff.
You got to give it to Bryce Young. That kid is talented. Came from Mater Dei in California, and man, that kid is a stud. Yeah. What a player he is. Quarterback for Alabama. Kid is just unbelievable. Alabama, you got to give it to him every year.
Yeah.
They got a team that you look and you go, this is not going to be good. So
yeah,
got him this year.
They usually what I've noticed with Bama, right, is that Nick Saban he drafts. He's recruits. He's able to pick up a lot of some of the biggest linemen.
Oh my God!
That just push people around. And he picks up some of the best talent, obviously in the nation, but just does a great job recruiting. As much as I don't like him, he always finds some of the best talent, and he does the best with the talent that he has.
Oh yeah,
which is pretty damn impressive. So
yep, he is impressive.
All right, well, hey, enough about the football. I mean, the baseball has been going off, too, as well.
Yep.
So that's been great. I mean, watched a couple of the games there. And then that Astros and Mariners series is turning out to be good. But been some good stuff.
But there was a bunch of fights that took place, and I think we're going to talk about those.
Yes, we are. John doesn't have the screen today, so you guys are subject to what I got to pull up.
That's right.
So we have the UFC fight night. There was a couple good fights on there, John. I'm not going to blow up all of them, but I'm going to talk about some of them, man. And that Alexa Grasso fight versus Vivian, they were saying Araujo, which I'm fine with. I think look, when I watched that fight, it's kind of what we had said on the midweek show. I thought Vivian had the more power and was going to be more assertive, but she just wasn't landing enough to get it done. Yep. And I saw people, maybe I misread something, but I saw people on Twitter going over the score, the stat sheets and the scorecards and all this other. I'm like, were you guys trying to say it was closer than it was? I didn't see where Alexa Grasso, outside of the second round, I didn't have her losing another round. Did you? Ole, 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 ole. Oh, I didn't watch any soccer this week, but I was subject to watching the little guys watch. I had some the little kid soccer. It was awesome. Goal, goal, goal. But first, guys, there is some soccer going on. There is some football going on. There's been some fantastic baseball, which I do not like baseball, but
college
football was on fire. And the reason being is any team that beats Alabama, okay, I'm all on board. And at mybookie.ag, they had some great odds. And I'm telling you guys right now, Tennessee was with them the whole way, even went up on them several times. It was fantastic to watch. I was addicted to that. And it just was so awesome on how it all came down with 15 seconds left. Tennessee driving down, 2 plays, boom, field goal, a knuckleball field goal, by the way. I was like, what kind of kick is this? But it got over the bar. And that's all we needed to see. And I'm so happy anytime Alabama goes down. Look, obviously, go to mybookie.ag, use our promo code Weighing In, check out their odds, and you will get a little extra spending cash when you use our promo code Weighing In at mybookie.ag.
No, I actually had it 49-46. I thought Alexa Grasso, especially when you got to take a look at the counter strikes. And every time a judge is seeing Araujo's head snap back, from those shots and the repositioning of her body from the shots that Alexa Grasso was throwing, man, that's saying a lot to them as far as it's having an effect. It's touching her with some power. And I was surprised that Araujo did not switch up her attack. I thought she needed to change her attack in that you've got to, at times, off-balance your opponent just with your rhythm. And she wasn't doing that at all. She came in the same fashion every time, doing the same things. and you look and you go, you've got to switch it up a little bit because she's got your timing down.
Yeah.
She's seeing what you're coming with. And when she's seeing what you're, that's why those counter strikes are landing. And so, I look at, Viviana and she's a phenomenal fighter. She's a stud, man. I mean, physically, you can tell she's very strong. Physically, she's tough. She needs to get some, I'm being honest, the coaches are partially to blame for that because they need to see that, hey, I need you to change this up. I want you to change your rhythm. This is what I want you to do. I don't think it came from I couldn't tell what was being said in the corner. They really didn't show that corner much, but a good fight. But I thought Alexa Grasso basically just, eked out. She Floyd Mayweathered it. She eked out every round and she got the better shots in. That's why she won the fight.
Yeah. I think as Alexa gets a little bit more, as she works her way up the rankings a little bit more, she's going to have to start trying to find ways to get finishes.
She's pretty up there.
No, I understand that, John, but I'm saying when she gets to, they are not going to put somebody who's just inking out victories the way she is into a title shot. And it's nothing against her. Like I said this, I was blowing her up last week because she is so good technically. She stays tight. She doesn't load anything up. She lets it all fly from her face.
Yep.
She's very technical with her defense. She's technical with her counter striking. But we've seen in the past that those type of fighters, they don't get the love from the UFC that they deserve. Is that they will make her fight over and over and over again before they start pushing her into that title shot.
Yeah, if you end up getting those decision victories, you end up getting what I call John Fitched.
Yeah.
You end up getting you got to do a lot. Leon Edwards. You got to win a lot of fights if you're getting those decisions. They want excitement. They want someone that's finishing people.
Yeah.
And she just it's as you go up, it's hard to finish good fighters. It's like that's just not an easy thing to do. And they're not all making mistakes that give you that opportunity to land that great shot or anything. So
yeah, the openings don't come as often. I mean, the better fighters, the higher you go up in the rankings, the better the fighter is, which normally is the case. And
mistakes.
And then their confidence is obviously a lot higher because they have been winning. That's why they're higher up in the rankings, which means they, like you said, they make less mistakes. They fight harder out of a lot of positions because they understand where they've come from and they don't want to go back that direction either. And so there's a lot at stake when you're fighting those upper ranked fighters. Alexa Grasso was extremely talented. She got taken down quite a bit, but she was able to pop back up. She was able to do some good stuff from her back. She was good on the feet stuff. She stuffed a lot of takedowns. I had her losing the second round because she got taken down. Was just on the bottom the whole round, but that was it though. I didn't have her losing another round. I don't think. Unless I missed it, someone said that Araujo dropped her in the dropped her twice. I didn't see her get dropped. I saw her got taken down a couple times.
I mean, she got hit a couple of times. Decent,
I didn't see her get dropped. No. I didn't see her. Okay, someone was on. I think it was someone was in one of the Twitter things saying she got dropped twice. How come they didn't? I was like, maybe she got taken down. I didn't see anyone get dropped. Yeah. I didn't see her get dropped, I should say. But look, overall, good performance. Not sure if the UFC is going to be like, you know what? Yeah, let's run her again into another main event. Alexa, she's got to have more output. When she did land the harder, cleaner shots off the counter striking, finished with a kick to the body, kick to the head, kick to the inside of the, inside leg kick. Finish up with another finishing sequence. Land the counter strike, circle out, do something else. She's gonna have to take a couple more chances when she knows she's landed something clean on the counter strike. Because she was peppering Viviana with the counter striking.
Oh yeah.
It was just the pop 1-2. Admiring her work. She's gonna have to finish with something a little bit more stern, a little bit harder at the end, like a leg kick inside, outside calf kick, whatever it is, or mix it up with a takedown.
Yeah.
So.
But you got to give it to her. All the people that I saw that were complaining about the decision, I'm like, you're crazy. No. Judges got that right. No doubt about it. But, you have those kind of fights. It's a matter of just figure out, just like you're saying, what is it that I can do that's going to make it to where I can finish that fighter.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can't. And you know, with Araujo, you take a look and you go, she's goddamn good, man. You know, she's not going to be an easy person to finish. So I don't blame her at all.
Insane. Crazy. Next fight, Jonathan Martinez versus Cub Swanson.
We talked about this and the whole thing. And we really didn't bring up the fact that it was at bantamweight, which was, and it seems like everybody with Sam Calavita thinks I can go down. And you know, they do, as far as physically they get there. And so you got to give it, Calavita's doing his job. But when you're Cub Swanson and you're looking at a guy with, you know, 40 fights in his career, you know, and, you know, I love Cub, and I did, you know, his fights early in his career, his brother Stevie, you know, I used to referee his fights too, another gamer. And you look and you go, they're going to be faster. You know, that's not an easy thing to deal with. And we talk about speed all the time. And then, you know, the opponent, you know, look at, I'm not sitting here, the UFC did nothing wrong.
No.
But they didn't do him any favors either. And we talked about that Martinez is, look, this kid's a fucking sniper.
Yeah.
He is accurate as hell. He doesn't have the big personality. So what? He is a freaking assassin when it comes to when he steps into that cage and his ability to fight. Those freaking inside and outside leg kicks, he was just torching Cub's leg. And Cub was, from the very start, he was a step behind in that fight. You could see it. As soon as it started and they started moving, I went, this is not going to play out well for Cub. You know, it's just it's sad to see because, look, you know, and I know, and people that understand the sport, they understand. Look, the UFC is looking at two guys. One is on his way up, and one is he's coming down. And, you know, I want to use that name because, you know, Cub has been around since the WEC days with the UFC and stuff. And, you know, he's had a ton of fights for him, but they're not doing any favors with the guy they gave him. And that proved to be accurate.
Yeah. You know, what's crazy is like you said, as soon as I saw Cub throw a couple combinations that first round, I was like, you just saw the technical ability and footwork of Martinez, the way he slid just outside of range, was able to somewhat counter sometimes and somewhat just get out of the way and then try to press him back into the center, press Cub back into the center of the cage. I was like, this is not going to go well.
No.
When I saw Cub reaching in with like a 3-punch combination, lunging in both times, I was like, ooh, you're going to leave yourself open.
Now you're extending so far, trying to actually touch this guy, that you're putting yourself out of position. Yeah. And you're going, oh, that's not good.
And that ended up leading, what that does, that leads you into kick into the body, which those body kicks started to have an effect. And you saw Cub, and then the push kicks up to the middle, up
even
to the
on
body
the arms
as well.
Even when he's blocking them, man, and everyone goes, oh, he blocked it. Yeah, he did. But man, let me tell you something. It doesn't feel good after about the second or third one on your forearms. Your hands start to go dead. Yeah, it's not a good feeling. No, there's a lot at it. There's a lot at stake at it. And Cub just seemed like he was always right outside of range. And then it just started eating him up even more. And then those leg kicks started coming off the body kicks. And you could just see that he wasn't finding his range. And it's the speed. And I can't take anything away from Martinez. Martinez fought a great fight in terms of, he always made sure his back stayed off the cage. He stepped back into the middle. He was touching him with some stuff, making him miss and making him pay. Never really loaded up. He reminded me a little bit of Alexa Grasso, and he was always right outside of the range and then would touch you and then circle and move. Didn't really push the action too much, but didn't have to because that's it.
He possesses the power, though. That to me was the only difference between him and Alexa Grasso, is that he possesses the power to do something like that. Inside leg kick, body kicks, the striking had some good combinations with the boxing. And that's what separated the two fights, I believe. He was able to get Cub out of there. Whereas Alexis, she's got to work on getting that finish a little bit more. But overall, great performance by Martinez. And Cub, it's harder no matter what you're going to do. John, I have a question. Do you think you and I are going to get numb to saying, oh, well, it's sad to see, because we say it's sad to see because I've fought on cards with these guys. You've been in the cage with these guys, but we're now out of it in those ways.
Yeah.
We're in different ways involved in the sport. But do you think because we know them, we've been around them for so long, that we'll stop saying it's sad to see and just feel like, hey, you know what? He's had a great career, and you don't think so?
No, because it's the nature of the sport. It's the nature of the beast. If you're a fighter, there's going to come a point, you know this, where even you, when you're training, I'm not quite as fast as I used to be. I'm not landing the shots that I used to land. I'm not able to do things quite the same. I've got to alter my style a little bit. You know it. Now you're going into these fights and you could even be getting wins, but things are changing, but you don't want to leave it. You don't want to go away. And so they're going to continue to put you against better and better competition because they're going to use your name. It's a nasty business. They don't really care. They don't like the Khabibs of this world that walk away. They don't like that, and that is horrible to them. We could do so much more with you. No, man, let him walk away. Yeah. He walked away when, he was on top and he was still rising. He was still getting better. Yeah. As a fan, I fucking hate it because I want to see more. But as someone that understands the sport, dude, I love it. I think it's so fucking good. So.
Yeah, I wanted this fucking the person that I always remember the most, I walked away from it, was Barry Sanders.
Oh yeah.
I was not a Detroit Lions fan, but I was a Barry Sanders fan. And so anytime they were on, anytime they were on, I would just watch. I had to watch. And so just because you didn't know what he was going to do. And so you wanted to see, if you got to see one of those highlight runs, which you almost did every game.
Yep.
You wanted to see it. Yeah. So
my daughter-in-law grew up in Michigan. She's a huge Detroit Lions fan. And I always go, why?
I know. They're actually doing. They're not having a bad year.
They're not, man. Dan Campbell's a great coach and stuff. Hopefully, they really have a great season.
I hope so. They've got a good core of players.
Yeah.
I think Goff is not really. He's doing well. He's not killing them. That's right now. Sometimes you need to pay a game manager. Yep. He's a game manager, and he can
light it up.
Kind of start
sometimes.
Building onto that stuff, as well.
He's got great receivers.
Yeah, he does. He's got a great running back too in Swift.
Yeah.
We got some other good running backs as well. All right, what other fight? Let me see. Dustin Dusko. What's it? Dusko versus Jordan Wright.
Yeah, going into this fight, the fight went exactly like I said. Can Dusko survive the first round? Because I actually thought Dusko would go out there and try to trade with Jordan in the first round, and I was like, not sure. He didn't. He actually tried to use his grappling, which was smart, but he ended up in a bad position, but got himself through the round, but he took some damage. But Jordan is known as a guy, he doesn't come out into the second round well. It's just he's a one-round fighter, and we've seen it too many times where guys get that lactic acid in their freaking arms and legs, and all of a sudden their mind goes away. They're not able to deal with that difference. They're not able to deal with the difference in their heart rate and everything. And Jordan tends to seem to be that guy where, look, he's explosive and he's powerful in that first round. He almost had him out. When Dusko came out in the second round and went after him in the stand-up and landed clean, hard shots, I was like, oh, this is going to change. This is going to be different. And he just stayed on the gas until Jordan Wright, when he went down, you look and you go, he's exhausted. You know? And I don't care who you are. When you're exhausted, fighting is about the last thing you want to be doing.
Yeah. I mean, I thought for sure that Dusko was going to have a hard time going to that second round because he was on bottom the whole time.
Yeah.
Just taking some shots and just not able to get him off. But then the second round, he came out realizing, I don't know if he realized that Jordan Wright was going to be tired, but he came out and just tried to bully him and push him around. Go, look, I'm not going to play it safe anymore. In the first round, I tried to press you to the fence, try to get a takedown. That didn't work. Fuck it. Got to go to a new game plan. The fact that he was able to make those changes That says a lot about him mentally and how he's prepared to do whatever it takes to get to that win. Look, if my idea of that, oh man, I only trained to wrestle and get the takedown, it didn't work. Shit, I don't know how I'm going to do on the feet. He threw caution to win. He came out and made it a dogfight. Yeah. When you make it a dogfight and you believe in yourself in those type of situations, you're going to be pretty hard to beat. And he understood what he had to do. He just fought him in a phone booth, smothered him, uppercuts, left hooks, was pushing him back a little bit, making space, landing some clean shots, fighting him back in a phone booth. He just did some good stuff, dominant positions, got to the top there, put on some big ground and pound from the top position. Some of those elbows, I was like cringing, thinking to myself, God, I used to get hit with those. Ugh,
it hurts.
Disgusting, disgusting. But overall, I thought it was a tale of two fights, man. One was in the first round, one was in the second round. Yeah. And but overall, it was a really good fight. It was fun, it was entertaining,
very entertaining,
and I liked it.
It was a good comeback fight for Dusko.
Yeah, I'm gonna give some love here to Rafael Assunção because I like Assunção and Victor Henry. He's good. Victor Henry's good. He just couldn't get it done, man. He just didn't seem like he didn't believe in what he brought to the table. He didn't believe in it. He didn't throw it enough. He was just pot-shotting. You can't do that with Assunção. Like he's too knowledgeable. He's too educated when it comes to the fight game. He's seen it all. He's been there. He's done it all. He fought a great fight. I was very impressed by his performance.
I was shocked by his performance, I'm being honest, because I haven't seen that from him lately where he was actually, he was always a counter fighter in the past. Go back to his fights like, with Uriah Faber and stuff, and he would wait and he would counter beautifully, and you go, he left that. And then he almost got to the point where the stand-up was so like, I don't want to be there, that he was diving for takedowns, shooting from the outside. And you're going, what are you doing? You used to at least use your hands to set up your grappling. And in this one, he did. I thought Victor Henry, who I thought was going to win the fight, so I was definitely wrong. I thought that he was going to use his hands more, but it was the grappling of Assunção, just the threat of it, I think, that kept Henry from being as effective in the stand-up as he could have been, wanted to be. Yeah. And the fight just played out where eventually he was falling behind, and he just wasn't able to catch up with it. Yeah. And you got to give it. It was the Assunção and his maturity as a fighter, all of that ring experience, it paid off.
Yeah. Alonzo Menafield versus Cirkunov.
Misha, I'm sorry, man. Dude, man, as soon as when you watch, if you go back and watch that fight, Josh, and you see it, when you see a guy reaching with both hands out in the positions that Misha Cirkunov was reaching for Menafield, I'm going, oh God, this is not going to go good for you. This is bad. You cannot do. Those are the things from the 1996. Guys could get away with that for, in ways, man. In today's sport, you have got to use your hands the proper way to get inside, to be able to, get a hold of your opponent if that's what you want to do, to take them to the ground. And Misha just wasn't doing it. And, it comes to a point, Misha had his spurt, his run, but he needs to take a long look at what, is going on with his career, and the way that he fought this fight tells me that, what? It's time to start looking that this might be the time to pull the plug on this, because look, he got brutally knocked out. He got hit with, everything he could get hit with, landing, as far as it touched him as he's falling down, he hits the ground, he got hit more. And you look and you go, congratulations to Alonzo Menafield. He's looking better and better. He's getting better. He looks more relaxed in the cage. And this was a good fight for him, but it definitely was not a good fight for Misha Cirkunov. Yeah.
The power was very evident, and the way that Menafield was throwing it, it was, I wouldn't say reckless. It just was, he just knew, confidence. Like, I've got you going backwards. You are not landing a shot against me that's going to put me out. I'm going to land something against you. As long as I think Alonzo Menafield realized, as long as I got you going backwards, and you're not stable on that back foot, you're afraid of being hit by me because you understand what I possess. He's like, I got this, and sure enough, didn't take long. Go ahead and let me see what else. I'm sorry, my eyes are really bad. I'm trying to read it here. Can you make it? Can you make it a little bit bigger, buddy? Dave, can you zoom us? There we go, buddy.
My eyes are old.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, so Brito, is that how you say his name? Brito?
Yeah.
Brito versus Alexander. Good fight, man. I thought it was a good fight up until the choke. I mean, they were exchanging back and forth. Brito had some good exchanges. I love how fast he was when he got the takedown, jumped to the back.
And I loved how he consistently went back to looking for the back, never gave up on it. Eventually got the hooked in. You can tell physically very strong.
Yeah.
You know, he was trying to do that face crank for a little bit, and you can see that Alexander was having some problems, you know, but he got his way through it. But Brito just too much as far as he's got it. I really want to see him put into, I hate to say this is not right, it's not nice, but I want to see him put in a bad position. I want to see him be the nail to see how he responds, because he's got the bully part down.
Yeah.
You know, he's fast, he's explosive, he's strong, and you're great when you're the hammer. I'm not sure. I'm not saying that he's not able to take, you know, having someone who's putting it back on him and then respond and come back. But I want to see it.
No, I agree. I think if you watch that fight, the way he gets the takedown, the way he gets the hooks in, I do a lot of that myself. And from when I was fighting, I did that to Benson a couple times. You just get the takedown as soon as you get it. As soon as they go to pop up, there's that hole between the arm, the elbow, and the knee. You slide that hook in, and then the rest of it should be history. You should be able to get that quite a bit. It's about how you return them to the mat. You mat return them, how do they build their base back up? Do they do it where they're tight? So they slide their elbows and their knees together so you can't get the hook in? But majority of the time they don't. They actually just roll to their belly and kind of posture up on their hands or their elbows, and there's that gap there for you to go ahead and insert your hook in. But he fantastic, and when he got to the back, he did what he had to do. Is there any other fights on here you want to talk about? There was Vergara versus Tara, who had this Tiara or whatever, had the submission. And you've got Pete Rodriguez versus Mike Jackson.
Yeah, Pete Rodriguez coming out. I said, look, this is a good fight for Pete. You know, and you know, like I said, Pete came in. They put him against, you know, someone. He was a last-second replacement. You know, a lot of people say, oh, he's not that guy. No, he's a tough dude. I've seen him in California. He's a very tough guy, tough fighter. And he proved that against Mike Jackson. Nothing against Mike Jackson. Look, you know, you've had some fights in the UFC. You're not ready for the level of fighters that are there. You know, whatever the contract is and stuff. It's time for Mike Jackson to say, okay, I had my run and everything like that, because he got brutally knocked out by that.
Yeah, it was nasty.
Nasty.
And then he got the follow-up punch afterwards.
Yeah.
Like,
when you're laying in, someone actually said, you know, he got nail marked. You know, you remember Steve Nelmark got knocked out by Tank Abbott and folded backwards in the same fucking fashion. You go, oh, that's bad. But, you know, nothing, and no disrespect at all to Mike Jackson as far as, hey, man, you know, you had a nice little, you know, go there. I don't want to see you get hurt. I don't want to see you get, you know, put in that position again and stuff. And he's older, so it's not like, you know, why are you doing it? You know, there's not going to be a championship run. Okay, that's definitely not going to happen. So is it the money, and you're not making that much money, you know, with where you're at? So health wise, I'd like to see him just say, okay, that's enough.
All right, well, that's going to wrap up our UFC talk on the fight night at the Apex. All right, now we're going to jump into some boxing. We got Deontay Wilder, who was back last night, and Helenius. He fought Robert Helenius. Just, I mean, look, this is what we've grown to expect from Wilder. Obviously, the talent that he has fought leading up to this fight, they are the talent that will drag him into deep waters, whether it was Ortiz or Fury. But he's been in those deep water situations, gotten finishes and knockouts in the last round. He's got drops, you know, against Wilder, or not Wilder, but Fury in the last rounds. I mean, he possesses that power. Power never goes away.
Nope.
He still has it in the later rounds, but for sure he has it in the first couple rounds, and he showed it. It was on display. Holy shit. He has got the power. It was a nasty knockout, John.
Somehow Deontay Wilder, as he was growing up, started praying to the pagan gods, and they gave him Thor's hammer in his right hand because the dude can just. So he was going backwards in that, step back and then, basically hit the corner turnbuckle and launch that right hand. And it never even extended out. Normally you get all that power close to the end of that, it's not when it's so tight. He came across with that, and it wasn't like, oh, he hurt him. He fucking put him out.
Yeah.
Helenius was out. You look and you go, that's just something that, power like that is rare. That type of power. It's amazing that, someone like Tyson Fury got knocked down, especially in that one in the 12th round, and got up. He did the Undertaker sit up.
Yeah.
But nice win by Deontay, and he's that guy. You take a look and there's not that many great heavyweights. He's a great heavyweight, man, and he's fun to watch. But
John, he's not a big heavyweight either.
No, he's not.
He's tall, he's long, he's lanky.
6'7".
Yeah, he's big. Sure, he's big, but weight wise, he's not a Tyson Fury type weight.
When he fought Tyson Fury the first time, you remember what he weighed?
I think 224.
No,
less than that.
218.
Jesus,
218 at 6'7".
Jeez.
Yeah,
I think the second time he weighed 230, right?
Yes,
231,
he tried to get
232.
bigger,
He
yeah.
tried to get bigger, but
yeah.
Look, he's a special individual. He's he doesn't get enough love. I've gotten on him a little bit, in the past about some stuff. I'm like, but for me, I got on him about the excuses.
Yeah.
It was this and that, and it was
my
always
costume,
something else.
the walkout.
It weighed too much, and it made me tired. I was like, stop.
Yes.
Give Tyson Fury his due. On top of that, bro, he had a great fight in that first fight. I mean, like, he could have done more, sure, but he had that fight was a great fight. And so when I look at that fight, I'm like, man, then to see this fight, it lets you know there's such a huge gap between Tyson Fury, Wilder. I put Joshua in there, Usyk. You've got you've got these guys that are in there that are
you've got a base of 4 guys that you could look at and say, man, if you could just start crossing those over and matching them up.
I like Ruiz. Ruiz should be up in that mix too. I like him. I know he's got
I hate
a little
to say
small.
a little small. He's like Usyk
stature. Yeah, he's like Usyk stature wise. I like to see him and Usyk fight.
I would love to see Anthony Ruiz and Usyk fight. That would be a great fight.
Yeah,
you got a couple of things though. The co-main of the Deontay Wilder fight was Caleb Plant against Anthony Durrell, and boy, I'll tell you what, there was a lot of disrespect going back both ways on that one, and dude, Caleb Plant planted Anthony Durrell with that one shot, and you look and you go, but I want to give it up for Stitch Duran was in the corner of Caleb Plant. It's always good to see Stitch working. The other part that is funny though is Don House was in the corner of Deontay Wilder. Don House, from the UFC, he's been a cut man with the UFC forever, but he's also a trainer. Well, Don House used to be the trainer for Stavern, who was a big time heavyweight that fought Deontay Wilder twice.
Oh wow!
He fought Deontay for the heavyweight championship when Deontay won it the first time, and Don House was the trainer for Stavern. And so that fight was coming up, and Don House and I were arguing back and forth. He goes, I guarantee you Stavern's going to fucking knock him out. And I go, dude, if there's anyone getting knocked out, let's be honest. I said, I'm not saying you can't win. And he goes, bullshit. We're knocking him out, right? Well, then they lose the fight. And Stavern didn't fight. Then they fight the rematch, and Deontay just fucking torched Stavern. But now Don House has jumped over to the Deontay Wilder side, and he's his trainer. I'm like, way to go, Don. That's the way. Hey, that side's better. I'm going there.
Caleb Plant and Durrell. I'm surprised he's still fighting. He's older now.
Yeah, well, but he's got a great record. That made him 34-4.
Yeah,
he's only had 3 losses in his career.
Durrell kind of came up when
Super 6.
Yes. Right? And
yeah,
I'm just trying to remember back. I'm like, wow, I can't believe it's been that long.
Yeah, remember Abraham? Abraham gave him problems.
From Germany.
He could not, Abraham just kept walking him down with those hands up high. But, the guy has the hands up high. There's things you can do. But, that was not a good fight for Durrell.
Yeah,
Did he get fouled in that?
Jarrell was a very high prospect in that whole thing.
Oh,
it was
yeah.
him. It was
Jermaine Taylor, Andre Ward,
Froch, the kid from Denmark.
Yeah. God damn, I can't think of his name now. Oh, he fought
Mikhail something.
Yeah. That's exactly it. It was Mikhail.
God, I can't remember his last name. Damn it.
He fought Andre Ward in the first round.
Aloyan?
Nope.
No, Mikhail.
No.
He's from Denmark.
Ski?
No, he's from
No.
Denmark.
If you look up Andre Ward,
Just look up Super 6.
or look up Super 6.
Yeah.
Kessler.
Mikhail Kessler. Yeah.
That's it.
Mikhail Kessler. I liked him a lot. I watched him fight Ward here in San Jose, in Oakland.
That's exactly the fight I'm talking about. He complained about headbutts. He got cut a couple of times from them clashing heads, but it's just he didn't understand how to stop the style of Andre Ward. Andre Ward could fight everywhere. Andre Ward could fight inside, outside. He could slug. He could box. The dude could do it all. And he decided the best way to get past Kessler was to get inside into his chest and throw body shots and uppercuts. Yeah. Kessler had no idea how to stop it. Yeah. And they clashed heads a couple times. My friend was refereeing it, so he got yelled at.
Andre Ward was another he was another Barry Sanders.
Oh, fuck.
Yes. He was
so
like, okay, good.
I've
done it all. I've done this. Retired undefeated.
And that's the whole thing. Retired undefeated, 31-0?
Yes.
I want to say. And I mean, you look and you go, way to go, Andre. And I know Andre, he's a great guy.
Yeah.
He had some contract disputes and stuff, and there was some times that he wasn't fighting based upon, because he was signed with Joe Goosen for a long time.
Yeah.
And that did not end well. And so that's
what are you gonna do?
That's it.
All right. The other boxing match. There's a couple other ones, but the other boxing match that we watched was the Devin Haney fight.
Devin Haney,
Kambosos. John, I was texting you through this fight, and I'm like, fuck, make it stop. Make it stop. I was like, I just felt bad for Kambosos after the first two rounds.
After the
first round, figured him out.
I gave Kambosos the first round.
I think I did too. It was close, but I didn't really. Look, I always look at the first round as like a Muay Thai fight where they're just filling each other out and there's not really much going on. So you pick and choose who you want.
Like Devin Haney is,
unless it's a wild fight.
He is. He's a talent. He comes from the same area as Andre Ward, and you look and you go, man, tell you what, he's got the skills. He doesn't have the punching power. He's more of a volume guy, but man, when you talk, he's hard to hit. He's in there. He's smart about, and this is what we were texting, and I said, his clinch work. You take a look, and we talked about rhythm of a fight, and a fighter will get into a rhythm and stuff, and people will say, clinching, that's illegal in boxing. No, it's not. Holding is illegal. Clinching is not. And so it's the way that you use the clinch at times. Now, when he's holding, that's illegal. But he uses it to disrupt the pattern of his opponent. His opponent starts to come at him. He does certain things. You look and you go, what you're doing right now is illegal. But the referee's not going to take points or anything from that as far as things. And he just uses it so intelligently, as he's out there fighting, and he breaks his opponent down by stopping their little moments of they're doing well, and he circles on him, and all of a sudden touch, and you go, the guy's smart. He's a smart boxer. He's fast. He's physically gifted. He's gonna be around for a long time.
Yeah, he. Look, what I like is I like fighters that they can dig deep when they need to. They use their footwork and their ability to just outsmart other fighters. Now, let's be honest, it's not the most exciting way to fight.
It's not.
But this young man, he should be around for a long time with the abilities that he has. Not to mention, like, he seems, maybe I've missed it. He does sometimes step over the line with the trash talk in the lead up to the fight, but he's very well spoken about it. Like, I don't know, just the way that he talks trash. I'm like, he is Well,
That's me.
Well, hello, buddy.
That's the neighborhood that I'm in. See?
They finally found you.
Pick him up. Get him out of here.
They're coming for you.
He's extremely talented. He's very smart with the way he fights. He's just a good fighter, man. I'm looking forward to seeing him fight again. He continues to evolve. You could just see he was brimming with confidence as he walked into that ring. And just after he figured out that first round with all the switching from Kambosos, it was just like, okay, look, nothing's coming off of the switching. I'm just every time you switch, I'm going to touch you. And it just became easier and easier as the rounds went on. I was waiting for Kambosos' coaches to say, look, especially in the 10th round. In that 10th round, he got Kambosos got just peppered. Hey.
Something's on fire here.
Yeah, and I
on fire.
And I thought for
this
sure
podcast.
I would have thought Kambosos would have his corner would have said, okay, look, you got to give me one more round. Just show me something. You don't show me anything, I'm stopping this, because he was losing that fight after round 2. It was all Haney.
Exactly. And like you're saying, right when it got into the 9th, 10th, he was getting peppered.
Yeah.
He was taking some shots. And he's like, come on, man. You got to show me that you can be competitive in this and you have a chance. But look, and it's not that Kambosos is a tough fighter, man. He's good. He's game. He just doesn't have it. It reminds me of the old, Jake LaMotta fought Sugar Ray Robinson 6 times.
That was before all of our times, John.
Yeah, I know. But Sugar Ray Robinson was the kind of fighter like Devin Haney, just so good. Boxer, but he had power. But, Jake LaMotta, as good as he was, he won one of them, but it was, that's just not a good fight for Kambosos against Haney. No.
Like, if you're Kambosos, where do you go from here on that? I mean, there's other guys I know he can fight, but I'm saying, like, mentally, you need to build yourself back up.
Yep.
I mean, because the first fight wasn't close. Haney ran away with it. And the second fight to me was worse. I thought for sure in the 10th round, Haney could have got him out of there had he a little bit more push.
Yeah.
He had him rocked. He had him hurt. He was stumbling around. I was like, oh, this is not. Just stop the fight.
Yeah.
I mean, he just looks – Kambosos looks so slow. He was missing, lunging in with stuff. You could tell the speed was really freezing him up. Haney would just flinch and feint, and it was all bad. So
yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing Haney fight again. I'm looking forward to seeing where Kambosos goes from here and how he regroups, who he fights next, what do they do with him to market him, and that type of stuff. So
yeah,
we'll see.
Claressa Shields, man, you got to give it to her. You got to give it to her in that fight against Marshall. We talked about, she's been training MMA. I'm not sure that that's a good thing. I'll tell you what, man, she bit down on that mouthpiece. She was having some problems at times. And, Marshall just kept coming after her, walking her down, putting her into the ropes, landing shots, good head movement. And Claressa was throwing heavy shots, heavy heat. Mm-hmm. Some of them missing, which normally gasses you. But, she, every round came back out, throwing hard. Unbelievable as far as the heart that she has when she steps in that boxing ring. She's confident. She believes that she's going to win. You can just see the difference between her as a boxer or as an MMA fighter, because it's just the confidence as an MMA fighter is just not there, because there's too many elements that she's not confident in right now that can occur in the cage. But man, as a boxer, you got to give it up to her, because Marshall came after her and I thought she fought a great fight, but Claressa ended up, edging it out. I thought she should have edged it out. It was close. She went into her home, her backyard to do it. That was a hell of a win for her.
Yeah, I was concerned about Claressa Shields and her coming off the MMA experience.
Yeah.
Like, they're just completely different sports. Like, no, I'm going to tell you a little story real quick. Is DC was, obviously training MMA for a while, and he was getting ready to fight. I think it was John for the first time. And he went back to the Olympic Training Center and was wrestling with those guys there, and a couple other locations where he was wrestling. And Bob Cook was telling me, I didn't see this and witness this. He's like, but the kids that were the younger talent that was like number 1, number 2 on the Olympic ladder, he's like, man, they made DC look like he didn't wrestle. He
didn't know how to wrestle at all.
He hadn't wrestled in a while. So it wasn't the level of wrestling that, that they was wrestling with at AKA, obviously, with just Kane and a couple other guys that came in. Arjun was there. And so, sure, he had good wrestlers, but they weren't that caliber of wrestler. But it's also a different sport. And so I was concerned that Claressa Shields was going to be like, look, she was so far removed from boxing just because of the experience of trying to get into MMA. How much has it slowed her down? How much is it she had to pick up on the footwork? Yeah. The sliding in and out, the stepping to the corner, all of those things make a huge difference when you're fighting somebody at the level of Marshall. And like DC found out when we went back to wrestle with those guys, he's like, man, they're just grinding on you. They're just pumping on you. They're just hanging on you. They're making you tired. He's like, man. And even DC came back. He's like, fuck, it was horrible. He's like, I hated it. I hated every second of it. So, I think he thought he was going to go in that room and just fling them all around and stuff. But it was fun to see. I didn't see it, but it was fun to hear about it. And Bob's like, it was finally nice to see DC get what he deserves. It was funny. Just some good times, man. Those guys, it was always fun to hear the stories, whether it was wrestling stories or, man, if you guys ever get a chance to hang around with Mike Van Arsdale, you got to have him tell the story about Kenny Monday. He will tell you a story about Kenny Monday. It's just so fucking funny. I don't want to ruin it and say it, but if you guys ever had a chance to try to get him on the phone or interview him or do whatever, he has some of the best wrestling stories ever with Mark Kerr, Kenny Monday, Kevin Jackson. Just so fucking fun, man. So fun. All right, well, that's going to wrap up our boxing talk. Dave, we got some news, man. Let's get into some news.
Let's talk. Brandon Royval tweeted out that the fight with Askarov is off for the upcoming UFC fight card. He tweets out, woke up at 127. Before I started the weight cut, I heard my opponent's not going to make weight. They turned down a catch weight, so it looks like the fight's off. Heartbroken, but thank you. At Tyler Minton Nutrition for an easy weight cut. We stay professional on our end.
I don't know what happened there. I saw that come out, and you take a look and you go, hey, I feel bad for Brandon because when he doesn't step on the scale, normally he doesn't get paid, and I'm sure the UFC is going to take care of him. They're going to try to get him a fight right away. I don't know what happened with, Askarov. It's so wrong as far as not making weight, but then when you're offered a catch weight and you don't take that either, what the hell's going on?
What was the catch weight though? If it was 2 pounds, if it was like, obviously if you're struggling that much to make the original weight, you already get the pound allowance and you're going to offer him just 2 more pounds. Of course I would have loved to have seen the fight. I don't blame Royval for not taking the fight or not for offering the catch weight. Sorry, for offering the catch weight.
Yeah, okay.
But if they turned it down, it could have been 2 pounds, and then he'd be like, look, I need 5 or I need 4.5, whatever it is, understand what I'm saying. To deplete themselves so much. I'm not a fan of fighters that don't make weight, but I don't want to get caught up in the verbiage here. Yeah, we offered him a catch weight, but he turned it down. What'd you offer him? 2 pounds? Probably,
because what did he say? I woke up at what? 127.
Yeah, so he probably offered him. He's like, no. He probably wanted 5 pounds. Like, look, let's just make it 5 so I can stop my cut now. And he probably was like, no, I'm not giving you a 5 pound allowance. And it was just smart by Royval though too. Don't take against a dangerous fighter to give him a 5. Now, Askarov maybe was also just having kidney problem. Maybe I don't want to, but maybe having some other issues of just it was too much. Really affected him and decided to completely pull out of the fight.
Sorry, I think I said upcoming. I meant.
For a while. We knew.
Sorry.
Yeah, we understood. Yeah, we got you. We got you, buddy.
We got you.
But overall, I'm sure either they'll try to put that fight back together again on another card, or they'll just have Royval fight somewhere else, and Askarov can wait and be patient.
Yeah, but if you're Royval, do you want? I hate when someone doesn't make weight. You look and you go, do you want to sign a contract and say I'm going to fight this guy again? Go through, the training, go through everything, and to have it happen again. It's a tough one.
Actually, to be honest, John, I would take this as a blessing because Askarov's an extremely tough fight.
Yeah.
Give me somebody else.
Yeah.
You didn't make weight. I was there. I was professional. I was ready to go.
I did everything I was supposed to do. That's right.
That's your good way of just skipping that person and getting to the next, getting up to the next level. Just whoever. So sometimes you got to be smart about it, man. Like, hey, this is the way it worked out. I'm gonna fucking use it to my advantage. All right, next.
All right, next story here. So There's a report that Jones and Stipe is being targeted for December 10th. So the report is here from Ariel Helenius tweets. So I'll read off the tweets to you, and then we can discuss. There's no mention of a title.
Who reported it first? Do we know? Or
so I'm just seeing Ariel's tweets.
Got it from someone else?
There's a good chance, based on what he's saying, it sounds like he's getting his inside source. So he tweets out, UFC has been in dialogue with Jones's team about fighting in the main event on December 10th, sources say. I'm told Jones wants in. Initial hope was Ngannou Jones, but given Ngannou's knee recovery and contract status, it's a long shot. Option 2 is Miocic, but that's not close to done. If they can get Jones Miocic done, that'll be the UFC 282 main. If not, the main will be Prochaska and Teixeira, which was announced, I think, right around the same time he tweeted this, which it was made official. And if they can't get Jones Miocic done for 12-10, they'll set their sights on doing Ngannou Jones in March if Ngannou re-signs developing.
Well, it's real simple. No matter what, if you're taking a look at what they're saying there, you have a championship fight with Yuri Prochaska against Glover Teixeira. The only way that you can make Miocic versus Jones the main event over a championship fight, in reality, is make it a championship fight. That means that they're looking at making an interim title for that fight.
Or they've given up contract negotiations with Ngannou, and they're just going to call it what it is.
Maybe.
The title shot. But John, that's not the only way. I mean, the UFC can do whatever they want. They can put a title shot. They can put a non-title fight up there. They don't do that.
You know, just like I do, it's a matter of disrespect to your champions that you're putting something as a main event that is not a championship fight, we'll say, above you. They're not going to do that.
Yeah, but I know. It's happened before.
When does it happen?
It drives you and I nuts.
Oh, no. I'm not. I said in the UFC.
Oh, yeah.
Bellator did it totally wrong. And we told them, you're totally wrong.
The explanation was because it was Fedor, but I'm like, it's
I don't
still.
care.
Yeah.
Don't matter.
Yeah. But yeah, I agree. I think it's got to be a title shot. The title shot's got to be up there at the top. Now, I don't know if you put an interim title shot ahead of a current champion. I don't know about that.
You can say, oh, well, it's a heavyweight fight, light heavyweight. We go by weights normally as far as where we stack them and stuff. But man, it's got to be a title fight. It has to be.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think the expectation was always to make an interim title shot with Jon Jones if Ngannou wasn't going to fight him. But I don't know. We'll see. Look, Stipe's been so far removed now. It's been over a year, I think, now.
Oh, like Jon Jones is not far removed?
Oh, that's true. That's true. This is very true, John. I'm glad you put me in my place right there.
I don't mean I wasn't even trying to put you in your place. I'm just saying,
Jon Jones
Jesus
has been
Christ.
out longer than Henry Cejudo.
Hello.
That's fucking crazy.
Is that fucking nuts?
I guess I just look at it as like Jon is someone that he's just levels above almost everyone else. That, I mean, maybe he needed the time off. Maybe we can even the playing field. I guess, I don't know. Yeah. What's Stipe now? Stipe is also 40 now? 39?
Oh, yeah.
So, I don't know. It should be
craziness.
We'll see what happens. I mean, either way, I'm excited to see Jon back in the cage. That's one. Two is, I'd like to see, I've always wanted to see the Stipe and Jon fight. That'd be a good fight. I think it'd be a great fight.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
See.
All right.
See how they do it.
Next.
All right. Next story here. I want to get your thoughts on this situation between Masvidal and Leon Edwards. So Masvidal was in an interview and he made comments towards Leon. The comments were as follows. Leon, fucking step up to the plate, bro. You begged and cried and did all this bullshit before when I was fighting for the titles. Now you got the belt. Let's go. So, Masvidal calling for the title fight. And then Leon responds, refer to me as Mr. Edwards or Sir and get on your knees and beg, and I may consider it.
Yeah, I love it. Oh, nice. Hey, look, this is what happens when you're king. Okay, and for a while there, Masvidal, although he wasn't the champ, he was king of the situation, and he could dictate, who he was going to fight, and all that. Now, shoes on the other foot, and Masvidal's looking. He's trying. I'll give him credit. He's trying, but he's got no fucking sway in this.
I mean, Leon's not going to fight him.
No.
Leon's like, no, man.
There's no reason
you weren't even hearing me when I was there saying, hey, you fucking hit me in the back. Fucking, I want to get it back. Let's go. And you weren't hearing me.
Yep.
And I'm a big Masvidal fan, man. I like George, and I've trained with Leon. I like both of them. But
why would a champion take on a guy that's got multiple losses in a row?
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense.
Nope. It doesn't. I mean, and Leon's the champ.
Yeah.
Like, he's not the BMF champ.
No.
He's not the guy that fought for the title 3 times. He's the champ. And so he's reached something that Masvidal hasn't reached yet, and he's going to use that to his advantage every step.
As he should.
As he goes. As he should. Yeah, I agree. But I also think Leon, I think to me is really going to have to stay focused on Usman.
I agree.
That fight's supposed to happen sometime in what they say, February, March, something like that. They're supposed to run that fight back. So he's going to have to stay dedicated to the craft. He's going to have to stay dedicated to understanding, like, that first fight was not going my way. I've got to make some changes and adjustments. I've got to mix this thing up. And so, the 2 fights. 2 fights. My
Second
bad.
fight.
Second fight. So, I think he understands that. And so he understands that he's going to have to stay in that room dedicated to making himself better from that.
Yeah, he's got to look at what, went wrong in that second fight, why he was having problems at times. He's got to fix those.
Yep. Yeah, because he wasn't pulling the trigger. That's what the problem was.
I agree.
So he wasn't pulling the trigger. He's going to have to fix that. But I don't think this fight's going to happen. I think if Leon loses the title, then you potentially could see it happen because now he doesn't have as much negotiation.
No, then Masvidal doesn't want the fight.
Yeah, then he doesn't want the fight. Nah, but hey, this is the great thing about it. See, there's characters involved in this sport.
Yeah.
And John, we've always got I've said what I've had to say about fighter pay. Some fighters are not happy about it, but I've said what I've had to say about fighters pay. But guys like Nate Diaz, guys like Masvidal, guys that have a lot of losses on the record, but a lot of significant wins. Those fighters we would never hear about in boxing. You wouldn't hear about these fighters. You wouldn't know, and you wouldn't be able to have these fighters headline shows that people would ever give a shit about. But if you had Leon and Masvidal headline a show, even if Leon wasn't the champ, I'd fucking tune in.
Sure.
I'd watch that fight.
Yeah.
That's because you have characters in this in MMA. The platform and the way that they put together these cards, you're able to build up the young talent, and they can eventually later on headline a card. No one pays attention. Do you know who was on any of the undercards on these last 3 boxing nights? Last night there was 3 boxing fights. All 3 of them we talked about.
Yeah.
Do you know anybody that was on the undercard besides Plant and the other guy that got knocked out and Durrell? Besides that fight, who else was on the undercard, John?
I didn't watch him, so
thank you.
Didn't.
Thank you.
Didn't.
You know what I mean? Like, so that's my point. My point is, Nate Diaz would have never become a star. We would never be privy to watch all the fucking great action-packed fights that Nate Diaz put on. Masvidal, his performance over Nate, but his performance over Ben Askren. Like, we would have never have seen guys like Masvidal come up because they've got too many losses on their records. You know, I mean, got to think about it, right? Guys like Randy Couture. Randy, he's like almost a 500 fighter, right? What, 19?
No. He was probably somewhere around 19, 20 wins and probably 11, 12 losses.
But I mean, like, that's a significant amount of losses.
Absolutely.
In boxing, you lose 1 or 2 times, I think promoters just kind of give up on you. You're like,
for a while.
It's very rare that you have a boxer.
Unless you're something special with your personality.
Yeah, unless you're a boxer that I mean, like, what's his name? The one that always talks a lot. Used to be with the Mayweather camp. God, I can't remember the guy's name. Broner. That guy. He just digs himself a hole every single time. But he's got talent. He's got some talent, but he's got a talking mouthpiece, and that's what keeps him in the loop, I think. Yeah. But he's got a lot. He's got, 3 losses, 4, something like that? He's got a couple losses. And so with him, it's like they keep him around because he's a talking mouthpiece, but it's very rare you're going to find those kind of fighters. I like the platform that the way that the MMA is broken up. You've got a lot of prelims. You build your stars there. People tune in for it. There's more ways to win, submission-wise, knockout, all different types of elbows, knees, all that stuff. There's so many different ways to win the fight. BJ Penn's almost a 500 fighter.
He's a 500.
But you look at the fighters that he's fought.
Oh, I know.
And I go back through all the stuff. I'm like, man, like people would have stopped watching him. I fucking always watched that guy. This guy too with Randy, other guys that have come up that have lost a lot of fights. We would have never have seen those guys fight towards the end of their career. And they had some of the best fights towards the end of their career. I mean, people wrote Randy Couture off right before he fought Chuck Liddell. And then he went out there and spanked Chuck. And then Chuck
UFC 43.
Yep, and then Chuck came
Just
back.
before you came on.
Yeah, yes. And then Chuck came out. And got the wins back over him. But then the same thing with when he went up to heavyweight, went back down. Randy was one of those guys. Everyone always wrote him off. But then he came out and had some of the best performances when people wrote him off. When he was the underdog, he fought his fucking ass off.
Yep.
So those are guys that I feel like in boxing we're never going to see. The whole Andy Ruiz situation. Like no one talked about it because he had 2 losses or 1 loss. I think he had 1 loss. No one ever talked about him.
He has 2 losses.
He's got 2 losses.
2 losses total.
And so people wrote him off because of the way he looked.
Sure.
Didn't really have not a big talking mouthpiece. But the guy can fucking box.
Yes, he can.
And so it's like we would never have been able to see fighters like that or guys like Randy and continue to watch guys like BJ or other fighters that have had a lot of losses because we would have just wrote them off.
Look at Vanderlei Silva.
Yeah.
Vanderlei Silva's he's up in probably double digits in losses and stuff.
Yeah.
But like when he fought Chuck, look, Chuck was not having an easy go at that time. He had lost his title to Quentin and everything. And had some tough fights, lost to Keith Jardine,
Yeah.
And then you look and he had both of those guys had incredible performances when they matched up. That was an awesome fight. So you never, it's about the fighter. And it's about, as long as the fighter is competing against top talent, I don't give a shit if they win or lose. I care about how they're fighting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Got to make it entertaining. Got to have fun.
Yeah,
we were definitely blessed to watch that fight with Vanderlei and Chuck. That was a great fight.
Yeah.
All right, next.
All right, let's talk about this next one. Tyron Woodley, in an interview, made these comments. I want to get your reaction to this. He says, I suggest he come over on this side and make some money with me, talking about Diaz, because I got a good opportunity with me and Nick or Nate, or both of them. We can make quite a few millions of dollars fighting each other. Hard to read.
What do you think about that? I'm just going to be honest. Look, I love Tyron Woodley, and I don't ever want to say anything that is disrespectful in any fashion. But as a boxer, no one cares. And when you lost to Jake Paul, you lost him the first time. It was a decision. The second one, that was definitely not a decision, and that was you got starched. And at that point, just like what you've just been talking about, Josh, boxing-wise, you have 2 losses and no wins. Do you think someone's going to have pay-per-view money for you? That's not happening. Okay, so the real thing is you could look at the Diaz brothers, and I don't blame Tyron for pulling out those names because they at least have people that will pay money to watch them fight. But right now, Tyron's the B side of that, and he is definitely not going to be pulling in any numbers. No one cares. I love the fact if he made money in the Paul, 2 fights with him and stuff. God bless him for making that. But boxing is not going to be where he's going to be making millions of dollars. If someone is telling him that he's going to get millions of dollars, in a fight boxing wise, he better be fighting someone that everybody else wants to see that person. I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
I know it's not nice.
I think you said it. Look, it's going to come down to the Diaz brothers. As much as people want to give them a hard time about the way they talk, the way they they're not stupid.
No.
they are not like in a boxing match. I mean, I don't think they would take that fight because they're like realistically, and if they did take it, I don't think they would offer Tyron Woodley $1 million. I think they'd say, okay, look, we'll give you 500,000 maybe, and we get the rest. I mean, if, like you said, they are the A side. They make the decisions in boxing. That's what the difference is. They make the decision on how much my side of the purse is going to be and your side of the purse is going to be. And so no different than when Mayweather and Pacquiao were negotiating, and it was supposed to be a 50-50 split. And Mayweather was like, nope, that's not going to be a 50-50 split. I'm getting this much and you're getting this much. You know, eventually that fight happened, but it took a while because they couldn't get it right.
Years.
This is something. Yeah.
It took years.
This is something where the Diaz brothers right now, they hold all the cards. I even feel like they hold all the cards against Jake Paul. Like, you need me to validate you. I mean, I think the Anderson Silva fight is interesting because that will validate Jake Paul if he beats him. That will validate him. But then when you get to that level, do you want to take that chance now, Nick or Nate, to fight Jake Paul after he just beat Anderson Silva? Because there's a different style and size as well. Jake is a lot bigger than Nick. Maybe not height-wise, but I think like thickness-wise. and
body-wise.
And obviously a lot younger. And so that's kind of the where I'm looking at it. I'm like, if Jake Paul gets rid of Anderson, if I'm Nick or Nate, do I take that fight? There's a lot of money, but it's got to be a ton of money because you may not ever box again after that. Like, if you lose that fight, no one's going to want to see you fight somebody else then after that. I think Nick and Nate right now is a good opportunity for them to fight someone that they can beat, get their win, make $1 million or make it $2 million, make $5 million, whatever it is, and because they will sell. They will
move
sell.
on to the next. Yeah.
And then move on to the next, and then maybe build up that fight with Jake Paul. I don't think taking that fight directly with Jake Paul, if he does beat Anderson Silva, is a wise thing to do.
Yeah, but do you look at them taking a fight with Tyron Woodley?
I don't think so.
I don't either.
If I did, I mean, I think it would be like I pay you 500 and, or less, or, or more or whatever, but it won't be $1 million. It'd be them taking all the money, which is how boxing negotiates.
Yeah.
I'm the draw. I'm the name.
80% goes to the fighters, 20% goes to promoters, but that 80% is structured. Yeah. Usually one side gets a majority of it.
Yep. I mean, I'm going to be honest. I had someone reach out to me asking me to fight Nate in a boxing match, and I was like, no thanks. I was like, I'm good. I'm good, man. I'm good. Yeah. So yeah, I just was like, no. They're like, hey, there's a lot of money that I was like, nope, I have no desire to fight anymore, man. I'm good. If I was gonna fight someone though,
no.
If I was gonna fight somebody, it'd be Nate. But I just have no desire to fight anybody. I don't have no desire to get fucking hit anymore, you guys. Like, I just none.
It changes, man.
So your brain's already mush, though. You might as well just
that's our man.
Make
Dave.
a few million and
says the guy who needs subtitles to fucking understand what he's saying. I love it. All right, next.
All right, we're gonna wrap up on this one. Hashtag Snubgate 2022. Dominick Reyes is not so happy about being on the opener for the prelims on ESPN Plus on the UFC 281 card.
Wow.
Yeah.
You can explain that one. Josh
Ruthless.
can. Oh,
Ruthless.
Someone pissed somebody off.
Yeah. I mean, I'm wondering if Reyes fucked Dana's side piece. That's what I'm wondering. You must have been caught talking or buying Dana's side piece to drink at the bar or the casino or something. I don't know, man. It doesn't make any sense. First off, he's what, 6'5", 6'6", he fights at 205. He was a title contender. He had some great fights.
Main eventer.
How are you the opening fight on the prelims? Jesus. And this is how the mighty have fallen. Like, this is what I talk about is, dude, you're on the undercard of the undercard. You're not even on the main undercard. You're on the undercard of the undercard. That, I would be so pissed. So pissed. Snubbed. Like, you did something wrong. I don't know what you did. Maybe your managers did something to Dana, or maybe they made it very difficult to negotiate. But whatever your contract is, my friend, I'd be looking to find a way. I'd be looking to fight out my contract and go somewhere else because I'm going to be honest. When something like this happens, John, and we've seen it so many times.
Yeah.
They're not looking to build you anymore. They're looking to really just kind of.
They don't look to build people where there's no one in the stands.
Yeah, no.
Okay,
They're not trying to build you
honest.
anymore, man. So
you're gonna get those 2 probably Fight Pass fights. This is the first fight on the prelim, so it'll probably be like 3. It'll be the 3rd fight. There's nobody that's really going to be there. There'll be a crowd of 20% of the crowd.
Wow.
That is telling you that promotion right now, the way they feel about you, that is not a nice comment.
But playing devil's advocate,
Let's hear it.
If the UFC says this is such a big card that we want a banger to open up the prelims to get people in seats early,
Good. Choose somebody else to be that banger.
yeah,
And just being
I'm
honest.
like, can you pull up this card?
yeah,
I know it's a stack card. I get it. But what's the second to last fight or the last fight on the
And the prelims. Yeah.
where are you asking me? Sorry.
The last fight before the main card starts is
Wait,
what?
why is it? What it's showing that he's not. He's number 6.
Let me pull up this.
Okay.
Let me pull up this one because this one's probably the one in the UFC website is probably gonna have it arranged as they intend to play it out.
And then
Let's
the
see,
Bryce.
so we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so even the UFC website here doesn't have it broken out in prelims yet. I mean, this card is over a month away right now, so it says lineup released on ESPN. So let's actually just view that one. So here is the ESPN. So
You gotta make
ESPN has
bigger,
it.
Dude.
What's that?
Gotta make it bigger.
Trust me, yours is bigger than mine. I can't see it at all.
Jeez.
Where are we? See how it has the ESPN lineup has obviously changed since this because it has Frankie Edgar on the opening of the prelims now.
What?
And
Yeah.
you got to imagine that this can't be like how they finalize it.
Nah. Well, okay, but you said you're the one that you gave us.
Yeah. So
a story that it came out that he is.
yeah. So but that was Dominic reacting to the news that he was the opener. I'm looking at the ESPN lineup for the first time now, and ESPN is showing me that their lineup that he referenced has changed to Frankie Edgar and Chris Gutierrez.
Scroll down.
Keep in mind that Frankie and Gutierrez was only announced as well in the last couple of days, like officially.
So scroll down to the early prelim ones. Who's the opener? Arce versus Jackson. You've got Choi and Trezano, Olberg, and yeah, none of these fights deserve to be above Frankie and Dominic.
These
Go
aren't-
down.
These aren't
Yeah.
above though. This is the early prelims.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. I'm just validating that none of those fights. Now go up. Yeah. Petrosky and Turman. And then Blanchfield and Molly McCann. I mean, I don't want to sound like a total prick, but they're kind of, if this is the way the card is, it kind of breaks out the way it should be. I'm a Frank Yeager fan, but it's like he's not, this is his retirement fight. I get it. But it's in Madison Square Garden. But they also want the crowd to get there early. And they know that Frankie's a big draw in the local area. Dominick Reyes, I mean,
Definitely not a draw in the local area.
no, he's not
If you
a draw.
also look at this ESPN Plus or ESPN lineup rather, it has both these fights listed as match 8, so that also suggests that it's undetermined yet.
Yeah.
Which is also.
I mean, I could see them putting Frankie above Dominick Reyes. It's a
I think we're
retirement
shooting
fight.
arrows in
He's
the
a
dark.
former champ. Yeah. Hey, look, to be honest, they should both probably be above Blanchfield and Petrosky, but you know what? If they're where they
Yes,
end up,
they should be.
they should be. But Molly McCann's coming off two big wins, and Blanchfield's fighting Molly McCann. 2 big wins.
Yeah.
And so I could see them, why they're doing it. I could see it, but I don't respect it, but I could see it. Look, just because I don't have to agree. I got to lay it out for you guys at home listening. Like, you can see why the UFC, if it was to stay the way it is that I'm looking at right now on the ESPN app or whatever it is, I can see why they're doing it this way. Dominick Reyes hasn't fought in a while. and Frankie Edgar is coming off a couple losses. I mean, it's
his final fight.
His final retirement fight. They want to get the crowd there as early as possible for his family, his friends. I mean, I'm pretty much probably going to fly out myself. There's a lot of people flying in from all around to try to watch him fight his last fight. So that being said, I think they want to try to. We see it all the time in events where they put the hometown favorite usually in the earlier card so they can get the crowd there, or they wait until after the fucking main event and they have them fight so the crowd stays the whole fucking time. So, all right. Well, Dominick Reyes doesn't have anything to be mad about right now until the actual official placement of the fights comes out.
When you find out what it officially is.
Go to WeighingInPodcast.com. But before you do that, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Hit that subscribe button, the thumbs up, and the little bell. Give you some notifications on when we drop our shows. We drop our shows periodically throughout the week, but it's pretty much always early Sunday morning or Wednesday morning early as well. We've been doing a bunch of cool little side videos and everything that's going on, so we're going to be doing some more extra content for you guys. So make sure you guys hit the descriptions down below, and in that description, there's also a link to our Clips channel, our Shorts channel. Hit that link, go there and just subscribe to that Clip channel as well. We've got a ton of extra content that Dave puts together for you guys that we throw out there on our Clips channel. Hopefully you guys enjoy that. Hit the subscribe button, smash that button, and go to WeighingInPodcast.com. Pick up some of our merch. Sweater season is upon us. It is getting cold, so pick up one of our hoodies, sweatshirts, or sweaters, whatever they're called. Okay, and a coffee mug. Okay, if you guys enjoy coffee. John, take us away, bud.
For everyone that's here in Nashville with me, Tennessee, we're all happy. My voice is gone.
What the heck?
Exactly. Everybody here in Tennessee is happy after the Vols had the big win against Alabama, so enjoy that because you never know what's going to happen next year. We will see you.